guys, it's Gamer Ahmer here. So today I'm going to go ahead and show off some recent video game pickups and some store display items that I recently added to my collection. Now you may notice that this was actually featured in my 2019 Game Room Tour video. Well, this item, along with one other item, were actually shown off in the video, as I had already filmed most of the Game Room Tour video when I picked up this lot. So this item right here is the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D, and this is actually for the Nintendo 3DS, and it came complete with these two cases right here that say for display only. So as you guys may have seen this standee before, because it's relatively newer, it actually was for the Nintendo 3DS, and it would be featured in places such as GameStop, where you would walk in, see this display, and hopefully purchase the game. So I'm pretty excited that I was able to snag this large standee for my collection, and the gentleman actually had tons of other store display items, some a lot older than this one. So let's go ahead and check them out. I scored some other sweet store displays from the same guy that I actually picked up this Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D standee right here. So as you see in front of me, we have this floor mat or counter mat, as you may call it, and it actually says "Who are you?" on there, and as you can tell, it has tons of different pictures of different Nintendo characters. So if you guys aren't familiar with this slogan right here, "Who are you?" This was actually a Nintendo campaign that started in 2002 and went all the way through to 2005 for the Nintendo Gamecube. And this was actually a pretty cool slogan that was used to advertise for the Gamecube and really help define Nintendo with the different characters here. So right here you'll notice that of course Mario is a different color than the rest of the different characters. We actually have this Nintendo DS download station, and this is actually metal and has some plastic on it. You'll notice that it says free downloads here. It has Avatar the game, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Sky. It even has Mario and Sonic Olympic Winter Games, all for the Nintendo DS. So if you guys aren't familiar with this, they actually had this back in 2006, where you could go to various retailers and you could actually bring your Nintendo DS to download these game demos and more. And you would just go ahead to the Nintendo DS menu screen and click download play to begin downloading. So what would happen is various retailers would get these little not for resale carts, and they would go ahead and download them to one of their Nintendo DS's that they had at the store, and that would actually download all of these game demos. So if you were in a certain radius within that location, you could actually download these games to your device. Now they wouldn't stay on your device forever. They would actually stay on there until you restarted your Nintendo DS. So it would help you go ahead and play these games, and hopefully you would go ahead and purchase them. So this is pretty sweet right here because it actually has this Nintendo sticker on the back here, and it has DS download station. is the code on here. So this is an official Nintendo display right here, and it's pretty sweet. And then onto this last display. I actually scored this pretty awesome banner right here. So, if we just go ahead and open this up, you'll see that I have this Mario Kart Double Dash banner. And this is actually for the Nintendo Gamecube. Now this is by far one of my favorite games for the Nintendo series. So, I am super stoked to have this item in my collection, and I didn't have to pay an arm and a leg for all of these items. I actually got all of these items that you just saw, this standee, this banner, this mat right here, and the Nintendo DS download station for just under $200. So I would call that a win in my book, as I've seen these banners right here go for over $300 just by themselves. And this is in very good condition. It's a little bit bent from being rolled up, but it's not ripped or torn, so that is a plus. So I'm gonna have to find a spot for this in my collection and go ahead and display this probably near my Nintendo Gamecube kiosk and all of these other goodies that I recently added. So next up, we move on to some video game pickups. So this first item was actually featured in my video game room tour video, and this is the only other item that you may have seen in any of my other videos. So of course we have this pretty expensive Super Nintendo game. It's actually called Hagane. So this is a pretty sweet game. You have this ninja cyborg named Hagane, and he actually goes on a journey to go ahead and seek revenge against another character. And this game is so awesome. It has hints of Japanese culture along with some samurai action in here. And it's actually one of those side-scrolling platform and action games. And these controls are super awesome. And this game is actually one of the more challenging Super Nintendo games. So I'm really excited to add this one to my collection, as it is authentic and not one of those repro games. So I'll have to go ahead and get some gameplay on this. And then along that same note, I actually added this game from another buddy of mine, and this is called Musha, and it's for the Sega Genesis. Now once again, this game is one of those more expensive games for the Sega Genesis, and Musha actually stands for Metallic Uniframe Super Hybrid Armor. So you have this pretty awesome character right here, and it's one of those crazy shoot 'em up games where there's just so much destruction and so much going on the screen, and you can go ahead and pick it up and just have so much fun playing this game. So once again, I'll have to get some footage for you guys, and I'm really excited to add these two to my collection, and it really ramps up the collection. And then while I was actually picking up these store display items, I actually Googled video game stores near me, and I came across this pretty awesome store. It's called Pandora's Cube, and it's located near the College Park area in Maryland, and they had some pretty sweet items. They had tons of displays, collector's editions, games, and some pretty interesting titles that I haven't actually seen before in person. So of course I found some great deals and added some games to my collection. I actually found this iToy for the PlayStation 2, and it was cheap enough where I found it still sealed, so I had to add it to my collection, as we have the PlayStation camera for the PS4, and this has really shaped the history of the PlayStation over the years. We actually have this Sega Genesis game. This is Golden Axe. Now this is one of those games that I highly recommend. I remember playing this game growing up, and this is one of the classics for the Sega Genesis. So I actually found one in very good shape. Now this game, I haven't actually been able to find it before now, because usually I can never find this game complete with the manual inside. So I found it in excellent condition, and I'll have to go ahead and give this game a try. And then on to some Sega Master System games. I actually found this Cyborg Hunter game, and once again this includes the manual and it's in excellent condition. So I'll have to give this one a try. And it says, the year 2242, you're the toughest bounty hunter in the galaxy. You've amassed a fortune by defeating the most vicious creatures known to man. And now deep inside the enemy cyborg fortress, you can almost taste your next paycheck. But there's a little work to be done before you cash in, like blasting swarms of deadly cyborgs with your powerful psycho gun, and a battle to the death showdown with Vipron, the Vol cyborg leader. Prepare yourself for one explosive payday. So this seems like a pretty fun game, and I'll have to try this one out. And then on to this Sega Master System game. We have 2 Mega Power Bomber Raid. So this also includes the manual, and it's in excellent shape. And I haven't actually seen this one before for the Sega Master System. It says, it's the gnarliest fighter bomber game ever. So hot it feels like coin op. Why? 2 Mega Power means we cram a lot more game into the cartridge, so you get more action for your money. So this one looks like a pretty fun game, so I'll have to try it out. And then they even had tons of different steelbooks for sale. Now this one didn't actually include the game, but because I already own this collector's edition, I had to add this steelbook to my collection, as I already have a copy of the game, which is the non-steelbook edition. So this is the Batman Arkham Origins steelbook, and it's in very good shape. And then next up we have this game for the Sega Dreamcast. We have The Ring, Terror's Realm. Now I haven't actually seen this game in person before, so I found it pretty interesting, as it's one of those survival horror games. And this one isn't the most top rated game for the Sega Dreamcast, but it is one that you don't see very often, so I figured I'd try it out and play through it and see exactly what I thought about it. And then at that same location, I actually found this QuickShot stick controller for the original Nintendo. Now this one, as you'll notice with many for the original Nintendo, it actually has a suction cup base where it just sets right down and you don't have to worry about it moving. And here it has BA, player 1, player 2, auto fire, off, and auto, and then there's the start and select button. Along with here it says slow motion, you can turn that on or off. And then you have this pretty sweet joystick. So this was a pretty cheap controller, and I'm pretty excited to add this to my collection, as I actually haven't seen one of these before. So I'll have to give it a try with a ton of those Nintendo games. And then moving on, I actually added this Donkey Kong game, and it says video game cartridge for use with the Atari video computer system and Sears Video Arcade. Now this was actually given to me with the purchase of all of these store displays from that guy. And then on to this last pickup, we actually have this Xbox 360 game, and this is the Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock game, and this is actually complete with the game and the guitar here. And you'll notice that of course we have Slash right on the front cover. So this is a pretty sweet box, as it has a pretty sweet box art on the front. So I'm really excited to add this to my collection, as I really enjoyed Guitar Hero when it first came out. So as you can tell, I added some great video game items to my collection. As you've seen, I added some awesome store displays from the Gamecube era all the way up to the Nintendo 3DS era, along with some pretty awesome video games such as Hagane and Musha for the Sega Genesis. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out my other videos and stay tuned for more.